On behalf of the WGAP Australian Trade, welcome you all along. And today we want to teach you quite a bit, and we'll be starting off with dealing with seeds, so growing plants from seed this morning. And we'll be looking at other aspects after lunch, but we're certainly going to get you busy. And we're unashamedly trying to encourage you to grow Australian plants. You can see progressive stages of seed down the stem there, and in something like this, which is a hakea, I was trying to look for the mature seed, and the more mature the better. However, some seeds probably avoid those. This looks like after last year's flowering, so you might say, oh, might grow, might not, so leave it and get the mature stuff. These are melaleucas. Okay, and this one here flowers along the stem. And you can see there's some old flowers there. I picked it. So they can turn up anywhere. So you've got to be a little bit more discerning to find the seed there. But if it looks mature and hasn't got any greenness at all about it, then you're probably pretty right. And so you can gather those capsules out, they'll break off there fairly easy. This melaleuca got just little globular seed heads, and they would have had a little pom-pom or a very short bottle brush type flower. But the same rule applies all the time. You go for mature stuff. Now this is probably a little bit of demonstration. You can see that's the buds of this little mallee, and that will flower later on. That would have been, some of this group here would have been last year's flowering, and that would have been the previous year. So that's really good to take that. And you could give that a try too, probably, just depending on how far into the second season this lot of flowers are. So that's Australian pine here. Now I couldn't find any with any seed close, and I found them a little bit tricky to get seed. So what I do, if I wanted to grow some Australian native pines, which grown in a pot for several years can make a lovely live Christmas tree. They're really a nice shape. So you try and look for a tree that's got some unopened pods on, and you just see if there's some that are just starting to open. And so there you're probably fair enough, you can go and get some of those seeds. Melaleuca wilsoni along the stems, and you can see these little seed pods here, there and everywhere. But generally speaking, the further down you go, the more mature they are. They turn out a little bit bigger. So that's the sort of criteria to give you a filler. While I'm saying that, we do use botanical names a lot, but you don't have to if that's hard work for you. You just enjoy the plants, you know. So but they're quite ornamental. That's the, see, if you can imagine them fresh and green and sort of all hanging out on display with a lovely bluey coloured powder on them. So they're sort of quite some way off from maturity yet. Gather up bit of material here, and you can leave it to dry naturally in containers like that. You know, of course, a lot of Australian plants are bushfire responsive, and that applies enough heat to open the capsules and drop the seed. Now, in any bushfire, of course, a large percentage of the seed will be totally destroyed. Some will be released in perfect conditions, and some won't quite release, but if it's had an application of heat and the top branches of a shrub or tree have died, well, the chances are the seed capsules will open up and release it anyway. So you've got this bit of a mess here, and you're sort of wondering, oh, how am I going to sort that out? So we have a very sophisticated range of tools that we use for that sort of thing. If I can just put my hands on it. Something of this nature. Sorry, we've got no digital tools. They're all manually operated and no batteries in them. So they work pretty well. So if you want to sort that out, get a container, put it over like that, get a household strainer, tip that much in, and give it a good shape till it goes through. But there still could be quite a lot there. Now there's plenty there for one person. So that's the way we approach it. Reasonably secure container like that. And that'll rattle out all the rest that's in there that's easily extracted. There you go, if you have a look at that. You can see that we've extracted quite a bit more. So, I don't know, that's, if you wanted to grow several hundred trees, you can do that easily. So that's the way we approach it. With boiling water. So, I'll just carry this around. So you stroke just off the boil, but I think we found that was significant. And then you leave it for 12 hours, 24 hours, well, usually 24 hours. You just tip the water out easily. But wet seed is a bit tricky to handle at times. But a commercial mix, just set that in like that. Alright. Get a little, anything you do, just to firm it a little bit. Not too much. It helps to flatten it out. And if you do, you're sort of potting up in a tray, something like this, it helps to save the mess. Now we'll pick out some seeds. Now, most of these have swollen up, so they've all got potential to grow. So I just spread them out on there, and I haven't particularly worried about trying to sort out the ones that haven't swollen up, because there's that many in there that have. Out of something like that, I'm going to get enough plants. So take care, because we'll get you doing this later on today. Okay, so that you close to the top.
So about September, October, but this time of the year,
You're just moving into the warm period of the year, so that's what the seed's like.
It's more difficult trying to grow seed over winter because the cold there, and I don't even try anymore.
You can mix it, so you put plenty in, because you can write the name on that, which is, I think, the case is Cecil's Bible. On the top. Doesn't have to be covered very deep, they say roughly about the diameter or the dimension of the seed. But I think nature often buries seeds at random depths, and they seem to be fairly resilient and they'll form up, so let's cover that. And that's right to go. We've got to put the right name in the right planet.
No, I always put the date on when I sowed it too, to give you a guide on how long it's going to take to come up.
This is a bottle brush or a callistomen, and you might cover them to keep them warm. This time of the year you don't need to be too fussy about that. You don't want them getting too hot either. So you use what we call the bog method, and that is just when you firstly water them in with a spray, that's initially, and then after that you put a bit of water in a tray like this, and maybe about a centimetre up the side, and when that's all gone, you just check it a bit, the moisture, maybe just a finger on top, or put a little sneak down the side and see how dry it is, and then add a bit more water as it's needed. So that's the trick to use. There's a kind of a fine line between nice moist and too wet or too dry. But